This is, I'm calling the meeting to order, but we're checking to make sure we have a quorum. We have 6 directors here and we have 2 on Zoom. Is that correct? Okay, so we do have a quorum. Our meeting is called to order. First, item on the agenda is the approval of the December 2nd, and December 9th meeting minutes. Can I get an
Second. Approve.
for both?
Both.
Okay,
Second.
okay. So both the December 2nd and December 9th meeting minutes have been approved. Association manager. Vote?
Yeah, we made motion.
Okay, vote. Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes from the 2 meetings? All opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved.
So I'm gonna do
Joy?
this. I'm gonna do this from here since I'm trying to run this and that at the same time. I'm gonna start with homeowners in arrears of 90 days or more. Is the homeowners is $24,798.32. This represents 3 members. Since doing this report, 1 member has paid completely in full. 2 of the other members are at the attorney's office and 1 we have initiated a payment plan with. So they are going to be again paying this week on that payment plan. So the marina arrears is $11,433. This is 6 members, 8 slips, 1 of them having 3 slips. The one with the 3 slips did make that $4,000 payment this month, so his balance is going down. And since then, today, actually, one of the marina's members that was in arrears paid in full. He called and paid today in full. So we are making some strides there. No WRSC arrears was $36,231.32 total. As far as maintenance requests, last month, we did have 27 maintenance requests called in. 3 of them are common property things. 1 of them was out in the marina. 1 of them was an inspection report we've got on the sale of a home. A couple of them were gutters. A couple of them were non-roof leaks. Couple of them were roof leaks. We had 4 that were roof leaks from flat roofs. We had 3 that were rotten wood or siding, 5 other exterior issues, and 4 that were landscaping being on like common area landscaping. Other than that, it was kind of a quieter month. Once again, I talked about this last month, but I'm going to reiterate it again because we're still having problems with people who walk their dogs or not walk them on leashes. It is a law to have your dog on a leash. I see people out here all the time that play with their dogs, and it's great until somebody's dog gets attacked. And somebody's dog was actually attacked last week or so by another dog that wasn't on a leash. Please walk your dogs on a leash. Don't open the door and let them outside. to go potty and then come back in. And we have problems with that too. Please clean up after your dogs when you're walking them as well. Nobody likes to walk through that. Always a reoccurring problem. We'll talk about again, trash cans. Please don't put your trash cans out before trash day. Please pick them up the same day and put them back in the garage as well. This is a habitual problem for quite a few people. Just a reminder with the freezing weather, we only take care of normal wear and tear. Freezing weather is not normal wear and tear. And I know in the past, pipes bursting over freezing weather, Rick ran out here and was fixing people's pipes for them and things like that. That's not going to happen. It's not part of a normal wear and tear maintenance program. That is outside of that. Prepare your home, prep your pipes, take your dogs and cats inside your plants, but most importantly, prepare your pipes. If it breaks, it's not ours to take care of.
What I would add to that for new people is know where your water cutoff is. That's the
Yes.
first thing you're gonna do is turn the water off to the entire house.
Yes, and if somebody needs help learning where their water cutoff is, they can give us a call. I can have one of the guys come by and show you where your water cutoff is. That's all I have.
It'd be your turn, then.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to welcome Barbara Brandon to the Architectural Committee. She has volunteered to help, and we're very grateful for that. So welcome to Barbara. We have two requests this month. The first is from 2716 Lighthouse. And that's the one with the stairs. A picture's included. The request is to add 6 stairs from a platform that's existing down to the boardwalk. And this is an update to a request that was already approved in March of 2024, when their deck was widened and 4 steps were added on the front of the deck down to that platform. And now they would like to add the 6 stairs remaining to the boardwalk. Those are actually in, as you see in the picture. So, yes. So the proposal has been discussed with the neighbors, and the material is Trek, and the committee felt that they should be approved as submitted.
Okay. What is the support under the stairs? It's hard to tell from the picture.
It's the hill coming down, and then on the sides, can you see the wood?
Is it
it's wood.
solid on the side?
Yes, when they build, they just put a cross beam and side supports.
So you feel like the support is adequate?
Yes.
Okay.
Railing would be necessary.
And they put on here no railings, but we measured and the landing isn't 3 feet, so it's not a required thing. I think we should make it clear that if they want to add railings, they need to request it. But specifically, it says no railings, so
I mean, it's a cleaner look. I just wondered
sure.
about an older person. Widening.
No, that is a good question.
An issue with the city, not with us. Safety and regulations.
And theirs is 3 feet.
So,
We don't have, I don't have a say. in it. If the city approves it, we're fine by us.
I'm concerned about it. Is everybody okay with with this addition?
They're not above anything. They're on the ground.
The steps?
Yes.
So it's
I-
instead of walking down a slope.
Correct.
Okay.
I've watched steps go in before across the canal from me, and the two sides were just like that.
And
And
they,
then the wood,
and they did check with the city about handrails.
I don't have any idea.
You don't have any idea?
No. The handrails would not be needed unless it was 3 feet drop off, like from the deck.
But they indicate that they asked for this addition for safety
To widen the steps.
to widen the steps. Okay.
It's up to you.
Are you all okay with the addition? Everyone okay? Can I get a, Motion.
Have other safety,
huh?
in my opinion. It's up to them.
Yeah.
Do you want us to say something in the request that if indeed railings are requested, it needs to be resubmitted?
Yes, they need to check and make sure that they're okay.
Say, make sure that they are legal with the residents. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
And if they are, they are. And there is rules about certain heights don't need variance and that probably. They satisfying the rules.
If it's under 3 foot,
Right.
off, they don't have to have railing.
And I forgot to mention the next door neighbor has configured the steps much the same. And they don't have railings either. Well, all we're approving right now is the 6 steps from the flat platform down because the others were already approved in March of 24.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Is there a second? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Okay.
All right. The second request is for 2705 Lighthouse. And their request is to install a Generac generator in front of home behind the large palm. It would be elevated 1 foot off the ground and surrounded by a wooden slat fence painted Bal Harbour gray, the same as the AC units. Let me say, first of all, the proposal was discussed with neighbors, and the work is to be completed by a licensed contractor. Now with this one, the architectural committee looked at several points regarding the guidelines that we have for standby generators. And these guidelines are based in almost word for word with the Texas Property Code. So first we looked at location and does it fit in with the appearance and uniformity of neighboring properties? And our guidelines say specifically Generators shall be installed in locations which are screened from view to the greatest extent possible, preferably in the backyard or privately enclosed area of the property and behind a wood fence. And the committee made a note on that there are no other front yard installations for generators at this time in Bell Harbor. Secondly, the guidelines wanted to know if it's in compliance with applicable government, health, safety, electrical, and building codes. So in this case, it is in our guidelines in Texas Property Code that we do have a say in the codes. So the requested generator will need to be raised higher than 1 foot. The City of Nasa Bay ordinance requires all standby generators to be raised 2 feet above base flood level elevation. And if you've noticed in the community, Bell Harbor neighborhood, the generators are on stands, elevated. So the 1 foot wouldn't be acceptable according to the ordinance of Nasa Bay City. And the committee also felt like by raising it behind the palm tree and putting the barricade around it, it would be much more noticeable from the street, being raised at least 3 or 4 feet. And then the generator on top. And lastly, the installation needs to be in compliance with the manufacturer's specifications. And Generac and the city both use the National Fire Protection Association standards. It specifies 5 feet clearance above and from any vent or opening. And important for this one is it also requires 3 feet clearance at the front and both ends, and that includes shrubbery. So to get that 3 foot clearance, part of that palm we felt would need to be trimmed. Can you see in the picture how it comes over the sidewalk? Yes.
Yeah, when we had, when we had the power outage earlier this year, or last year, because this year, I had taken down a plant and it set it down. It was just a hanging plant and had set it down, and then the generator kicked on. It killed that plant pretty quick, just the exhaust. And so to the point of that the palm is going to be hiding it, not if you kill it. And it will go on once a week for 10 minutes all the time because it has to test. And so that is a bit of a problem.
That's a very good point. Yes. And the 5 feet is also to anything combustible, and that was our concern too, is if the palm gets blown down or dies, it's not going to be there anymore. And so for these reasons, and based on the guidelines, the committee recommends disapproval for this one, for this request. It's right along the sidewalk. It's their property, their front planter. No, I don't believe so.
So if they didn't have the palm, do you recommend cutting the palm down?
The committee didn't feel like it was in keeping with the uniformity at all to have a raised generator in the front yard, right in front of the walkway and steps with the barricade around it, which he is willing to do, and I'm grateful for that.
That is asking, sorry,
No, go ahead.
Because there. Yeah, there is an easement about 5 or 6 feet along all our properties. Are they outside this easement?
I think it's actually before that.
I believe so. Yes. Do you see the blue arrow?
I know for a fact, my neighbor, Kathy and Bill Dixon wanted to put a generator in the front yard, and then we voted down because it was in the front yard. And one of the neighbors was disapproving of it anyway because it was in the front yard. So, and that was in recent, I mean, I was on the board. I was lucky enough not to have to vote on it, but, I was on board and I remember it. So it looks like we've got already 4 strikes against, it's not high enough, it's in the front. It may not be far enough away from, combustible things as in the plan. I don't know the only thing that's in its favor is that you can't stop them from putting a generator in, but they have to put it someplace where it's the code. So,
Yes, and the homeowner is very cooperative. I let him know what was going to be said tonight. And, I told him where other people have placed their generators, whether it be on the deck.
since they come back next year or something like that, but not next year. In other words, come back when you have a plan that's can be approved, and this one can't be. So I would vote against it.
So, Kay, did I understand you to say that the committee recommends not approving this?
That's correct.
Okay. And and you made suggestions about other places that would be appropriate to place it. So we might expect to see another request.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Can I have an,
There is a motion.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry, I made a motion that you, agree with the architectural committee's
Okay.
recommendation.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Favor of not.
For favor, I disapprove.
Yeah.
In
yeah,
favor of
yeah.
accepting what the architectural committee has suggested?
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Okay, Kay, I have one question for you. Have you, as a committee, have you all been able to start looking at the guidelines to see how you want to update them?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Will you just, when you get an opportunity to report on that, would you give us that?
I will.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can you provide in the guidelines some guidance in terms of what happens with costs from previous units to other activities? And specifically, what I'm referring to is when a hurricane comes along and we're getting barrel. I have my windows open. Can't have the windows open. Somebody's cost is going into the business. So it really is an issue for consideration. That's a very good point.
To the point, I guess last month or the month before, started a long discussion with the city of Nassau Bay along the same issues. And as far as I know, the city said they will be looking into that. It seemed like it's a big issue. And last I heard, is the city gonna see what the other communities are handling that. So it is really a city of Nassau Bay's issue. And there will be I guess, the judge on what to do with that. But everybody's acknowledging that issue, the problem. It is, along with the noise. Because the city also has a noise regulations that some of the generators are violating it.
If it was my turn, yeah. Okay, all right, this is for the month of, November, finances. What I'll be, updating on is just really, for the month of November only. Because the month of November is the first month of the year, which is also the year to date. So there's just one, update for November. But as you see on the top, I point to the red and the green in the center of the table at the top. The variances were relatively flat again in November. The slightly negative variance delayed homeowner payments, if I recall. Joe, I know it's been a while since we talked about that. And we were a little favorable on our expenses. Really, the biggest part of that was much lower in the month of November maintenance costs, but that was offset somewhat by some pretty high marina maintenance we did. But together for the month, we were slightly unfavorable, but very close to our budget. And then capital wise, at the bottom of that table, you'll see that we spent just minor funds in that month, which pretty much fits what our plan was for the year. So that's pretty much not only November, but that would be year to date. And then of course, next month for December, it'll have actually December combined and December with November, and then December by itself. For other expenses that we've been tracking, bulkhead funds, we've pretty much received, I think, almost all of our bulkhead funds at this point. We're generating a very nice interest level on those now. So that the deposits column there will whittle down probably pretty much to nothing at this stage, unless I might want to start thinking about the interest, whether I should. I think I've got interest in this one. I think I've got interest for the month of November and a few deposits. And then grant funds, as you see, that's spending level trickled down quite a bit in the month of November. I think we are tapped out 100% now on our grant funds. So everything now comes back out of our budget. It was very important and a big win for Val Harbor to have $100,000, especially after storm damage and whatnot wreaked havoc on our marina. And it really helped us a pretty significant way towards getting a lot of our issues on the marina addressed. On our reserve status, reserves here again, the table, the green bars are total reserves, blue is capital, and the orange colored is the operating reserves. Together, they represent the total change in our reserve accounts, 54,000 for the month. That's pretty much what we deposit in any given month, less anything we take back out that we spent. So as I said a little earlier, we didn't really spend anything in the month, so everything pretty much goes straight to our reserves in November. So that we're in the first month of the year. These two columns, the one on the left, October, will stay. We'll be measuring against the first month of the budget and of this year's budget against where we're at each month along the way to see what changes from our budget plan. The next slide is our total cash reserves. Again, as I talked about the operating and capital reserves, there is a small restricted fund that stays pretty consistent, has very minor activity on it. Together, when you take all of our funds collectively, you get total cash funds for the month of November. Again, those grew $48,198. That's not including the bulkhead funds, which we're, obviously monitoring those separately now. At the end of November, our bulkhead funds were 849,205. That's at the far right-hand side. So those grew 35,218 for the month of November. Okay, other than that, the only couple other things I wanted to just bring up briefly for finance is just work on what the board's doing right now. You might hear more in the future about us prioritizing certain expenses. As you know, I was just talked about the budget. We're on a tight budget this year. We got to spend within our means because we don't have a sufficient way of really growing right now our capital reserves without just deferring work, and that's not a plan either. So what that causes us to do is just to be very diligent about what we spend our money on. And so you'll hear more about that as we move through the course of the next 30 days or so. We even will provide guidance, hopefully, to the community on a lot of those things maybe that we might have done in the past that that aren't in the budget this year. But we'll provide more, some more guidance on what those kind of things are. What we want to make sure we do preserve long-term is resources, capital resources for the big things that we need to do in the community, not only with our common areas, but our roofing program ahead of us is big for Bow Harbor. Siding and paint, and as we said, many times through the course of the summer, we got bulkheads, not only the ones we're about to work on this summer, but we have bulkheads after that will need attention over time as well. We have to have the adequate resources to be able to fund those. So as a association, as an HOA, we have to be very diligent about how we make sure we spend our funds on the things that have the highest priority. So that's what that's about. The other thing, I just wanted to bring it up as a starting place. You'll hear a lot more about this, but many of us on the board here, maybe all of us, have had various requests over the last year, especially questioning our fee structure. And I know I committed to many that we would work on that, and we are. We're going to look at our flat fee structure, and we're going to look at an option to look at a tiered type of fee structure versus a flat fee structure, and present to the community here in the next several months what we do now versus what we think might make more sense long-term for Bal Harbour in the future, and solicit from the community their feedback on what our thoughts are on changing our fee structure, and get your questions answered and start working through that. But ultimately with the goal to draw it to a vote and have the community vote on whether we should or shouldn't change our fee structure. But I think ultimately it's something for the community to vote on. But what we want to make sure we can do is present to you a plan that we think is a way of doing it that is fair to every homeowner based on the elements that we'll discuss going forward, and get your feedback on that. But that's it for my update, and with that, I'll turn it back over to Jan, I think.
Okay, let's see, where am I here? Okay, the marina lease summary. Total number of leased slips is 60. There was 2 new leases and 4 moved out. And the reasons for the move out, 2 are sold boats, and 1 is boat repairs and 1 is out for the winter. So that's not that bad. At least if they sold their boat, they didn't leave it in the marina and stop paying on the lease, which some people do. That is good. And a couple things that were done. We've raised the sunk boat twice, but hopefully we'll keep it afloat now. And there's been, some people have noticed that it looks like some people were doing liveaboards, was basically staying on board their boat. And it's against the marina rules, and we've been looking for them. And Friday, we talked to 3 people about the fact that they've been staying on their boats. One went very easily, one went pretty easily, and one did not go easily at all. And but they've been made aware of the policy, even though it is on the contract, that they either didn't read it or chose not to abide by it. And we've addressed that. Myself and Jimmy, we went out to talk to him, and so that happened. I want to mention Keith and Katie Gibson bought and installed some harbor lights at the entrance, a green and a red one. For the time being, we've getting the wiring done on the other ones, which have been out for a while. They did that, so I want to mention that. And let's see what else we had. Because of finally collecting some money from the Sea Scout boats, affectionately known as the Sea Scout boats, we were at 153.3% of our budget for this month, which is good. Okay, I think that's it.
Matt, I'm sorry, did you talk about the letter from Steve about the abandoned boats? Did you talk about the abandoned boats? Okay, and also about the boat lifts.
Okay, 1 second.
Just you're going to start.
Oh, I just was gonna let it be, but I can talk about it anyway. So,
Remind them to read
oh, okay. Oh, all right. So I'm going to remind everybody to read the letters that come, and I'll remind people to read the emails, read the letters that come to you. Talk to your neighbors, go on Facebook if you can take it, and find out what's happening on all these issues. We will be starting the bulkhead repairs first off in the mouth of the canals, and there will be a few homeowners involved in that, and they will be notified or soon. It should be there's an email coming to them, and then we'll be meeting with them individually. And there's been some concern about derelict boats, okay, which has been a long problem of long duration in this marina. It's not unusual for people to come in here and leave their boat. If they're still paying the lease on it, it ends up being less expensive for them to pay a lease for the slip than it is to take the boat off and have it destroyed, because it costs a lot of money to have a boat cut up and destroyed. And if they can't sell it, it's cheaper for them to leave it. And then what has happened with a couple of them, the one that sank and another one, they stopped paying their lease, and now we have a derelict boat. Okay. And the Marina Committee is going to look at and put down a list of things that we can try to prevent this. Okay, I don't know that there's any way to totally prevent it, but we're going to try to do that. Okay, but you can put things in order to where they have to, like an apartment, they put a deposit, which they do anyway. But if we look at the boat and go, oh, okay, that boat doesn't look that great, maybe we won't let them in. Maybe, I don't know, we'll have to do that, but we'll have to come up with something. It isn't a huge problem, although we have a lot of boats out there that are not looking that great. Maybe they don't rate the term derelict yet, but I guess derelict is somebody who isn't paying their lease, or the lease on the slip, and they don't have proof of insurance or anything like that. That would be a total derelict. But
There was something in the email about a group that's against derelict boats. Did that lead to anything helpful?
I haven't looked into it. What I was going to do is what my intention is to ask the guy who gave us the address to call him himself. I mean, in the meantime, we were.
That would be.
Oh, okay, good.
So I didn't want to interrupt, but it's like you're at time to talk further openly, or going to wait till the next time frame.
I would welcome it, given the case that, could you hand him the microphone? Okay.
I'll be brief. I sent you that memo because, as Matt has said, this has been going on for a while, and Joy and Rick found ways to deal with it. Some of the boats we looked at 5 years ago that were in pretty rough shape. Many of them eventually got moved out. Some are still here. So the issue, I think, has gotten some attention, but if you look around the lake at the other marinas, there are Marina del Sol, for example, claiming they have as many as 35 or 40 boats. They're in derelict condition. Those people have no place to go. They're being kicked out. The new owner is kicking them out. So they're not the only source of this, but people are taking boats out in the middle of the lake, hanging them off a clothesline rope, and the boats sink. And so that's why there's a lot more attention to it. And my reason for bringing it to the board was for our self-protection. We're not going to solve all those problems. But I think we ought to put our thinking cap on and be as creative as we can about keeping those boats out of here. It's a penny saved and a pound paid if we get in boats that fall apart or get unattended. It's more work for Joy and then the crew. And frankly, it could be a very significant cost for us with a GLO if we got fuel leaking all over the place when those boats go down, and they will go down eventually. If you've had boats, you have to maintain those through holes and the hoses that attach to them. You can't just ignore them year after year after year. We've got 8 boats on A pier that pretty well fit that description, 3 on B pier, and of course the sunken boat on C pier, which looks like was a sailboat submarine at one point. So my hope is that you'll push hard on the issue. It's easy to ignore it. It's kind of like the old rusty truck at the end of the road nobody looks at, but eventually we'll pay for it, and we'll pay for it much more than we're getting back in terms of slip fees. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, I told the people at that nonprofit organization they might receive a call from you. So I'll set you up.
Okay, good. I will do that. Yeah, and I've stated it on the microphone, so that it's gonna happen, okay? Okay. Okay, yes, exactly. Not quite a pharaoh yet, but there, thank you. I know the-
Okay, House and Grounds. Also, I would like to say thank you to the Gibsons for putting up the red and green lights. They did that on their own, so thank you very much. I have one request. It's 2672 Sailboat Drive. Wants to remove a maple tree and do stump grinding that's out in the front yard by a it'd been heavily damaged by a hurricane. And the committee looked at the tree. It really looks sad. I don't know what miracle could bring it back. I don't know what kind of tree it is, but we all agreed that it should be taken down. I have started making some longer walks throughout the neighborhood. And for personal reasons, I couldn't walk very far, and now I'm set free. And I saw an area on Harbour Drive that was some sagos that desperately needed cleaning up. They were on common ground. They looked terrible, and that's Harbour Drive, our main drive. So I think we had talked about over the past couple of years is there's a committee, a mop committee or something. But if you see something like that when you're walking, if you're a walker and see something you're like, wow, maybe we could fix that, be an easy fix, dead bushes or something, just please contact me or Joy and we'll try to fix it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. If there's anybody who wants to help do any of the upkeep on some of the common areas, some of the beds and stuff, you can just let Brenda know, or you can let me know. It's not that hard of work, but it does make a big difference. Do what?
Vote on the application. Oh, we had vote on our application. And the committee recommends removing the tree. So we'll vote on it.
Just, can I have a motion? Thank you. To remove the tree and grind the stump.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay, then that passes. Dennis?
The tennis, we have 14 members. We gained one member and one member quit, so same number as last month. So our income this year to date is 5,300. It's about 15% of our budgeted. No other activities. We're still holding on. We have some tennis group. Maybe they will, waiting to hear back from them to start some activities there. So we'll see. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Is there any old business? No. Okay. New business, we have a couple of things that we are going to vote on. The board of directors is going to vote to adopt the new employee documents. Those are the employee handbook, job descriptions for the association property manager, the office manager, the property maintenance supervisor, and the maintenance staff. Can I get a motion to approve putting those documents into place. Okay. Is there a second? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, those documents, we have been trialing and have determined that they are very useful, so that is why that has come up. The Board of Directors is going to look at and sign the new engagement letter with Mark Fifield, our CPA. Has everybody had an opportunity to review that? Yes? Is everybody ready to vote on it? Can I get a motion to accept the new engagement letter with the CPA?
Motion to accept the new engagement letter of
Okay.
Mark people.
Is there a second? Okay. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, so that's accepted. We need to approve the contract with Wabo Roofing Systems for the contract that was discussed at the last meeting. Is everybody clear about the contract?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the contract? Okay, is there a second? All in favor? Anybody opposed? Then we need to, we did an email approval of the insurance for the marinas. We need to vote on that, but Joy, can you give us just a brief?
Just a quick, we had budgeted for quite a bit more than what it actually came in, so we saved ourselves some money this year. It's just the marina insurance, which is our wet property insurance, and the windstorm deductible buy down. The deductible buy down came in the same as last year at the $17,013. The marina insurance came in at only 108,870, so it was about $6,000 under what we had budgeted. So that's great. We can definitely use that extra money somewhere else. So, but we did have to go ahead and accept that via email because it was due at the time on the 17th. So it was before our next board meeting. So we just need to ratify that vote.
Okay, can I get a motion for approval of the email? Yeah,
Did everybody hear that? We saved some money. Okay, good. We saved some money. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, now I make a motion to accept. Sorry. Okay, I couldn't pass it up. I'll make a motion to accept, what are we doing?
Whatever.
We accept the marina insurance that we have already.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Okay, I'm going to open the floor for homeowners' comments on items that are not on the agenda. Each homeowner will have 2 minutes to present whatever they want to present. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to present?
I'm Joan Addison. I've lived here since November of 1997. And I just want to say that I am very disappointed in how my recent situation has been and is currently being handled. 2 weeks ago, I reported that I had a leak in my garage from my flat roof. The leak is around my electrical, so it is a hazard. Safety hazard, I might add. My garage flat roof was replaced in 2013. At that time, Rick was going to put a pitch in it. I don't know why it never was done. Wasn't done with my next door neighbor either. So, and the other two in the cul-de-sac still have the old like pebble roof, you know, whatever you call that. There have been instances along the way, you know, with that roof. But most important was a year ago, I had a leak, had to be repaired. That was on the other side of the roof, not where the leak is now. A couple of weeks later, another leak on that same side, different area, that was repaired. And so now I have this on this other side. Now, another thing that's kind of unique, because as you know, all the townhomes in Bal Harbour are slightly different in their configuration. If you look, same color, but that's about it. Okay, I discovered that myself and my other neighbor in our cul-de-sac are the only two homes in Bal Harbour that have a garage with a flat roof that has the back of the garage up against our neighbor's two-story townhome. My garage is not up against my townhome. So I've got other issues to deal with. You know, I've got her gutters, I've got her overflow from her AC, I've got all kinds of stuff that comes down on my roof, plus rain, okay? So, and I looked, I mean, it was like, but then if you look, it's pretty obvious because all the others, you know, there's no one behind them. And so if you drive around, you'll see what I'm saying. Anyway, so I've got this issue. I still have the leak. Thanks to friends and neighbors, they've periodically been coming and removing the deluge of, you know, pouring, ponding rain on my roof before another rain, because otherwise the whole ceiling's going to fall in. It's going to destroy my car. I'm just really concerned. I have no answers, no response as to what you folks are going to do. I can't wait any longer. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. I will say, January, when my roof had the 2 repairs, I do know that in the 182200 cul-de-sac, I know the exact address, I'm not going to say, there was a flat roof that was repaired with a pitch. Oh, that's on Lakeside, I'm sorry. There was a flat roof repaired, I mean, replaced with a pitch. The owner said that Jimmy built it up and she's very pleased with what was done. Why that wasn't done when I had the 2 leaks in January, I don't know, you know? I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
Joan, I need to interrupt you. You've gone past your 2
Okay.
minutes.
Anyway, that's it. I'm very disappointed and I need something to be done ASAP. I can't wait any longer. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments from any homeowners? Okay. If there's no other comments from anyone, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Can I get a second? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, the meeting's adjourned.